This is CIT 225, Network Security and Penetration Testing. We covered up to the point where we were discussing about physical intrusion, and today what we'll be talking about would be communication media. Different things, the way we use it in order to communicate with the users. Different tools are there like postal mail and emails. The scam was quite common before, where we used to receive calls on our landline saying that you just won a ticket of $1 million or $100,000, and you need to pay the processing fee, and then you can get the amount whatever you're looking for. So instead of paying you, they were collecting some cash. A part of it, usually it used to be $50 to $60 only, and people used to send that money draft to process the papers because they were thinking that I'm not losing anything in $50 or $60. But consider if same email or same postal mails is sent to 500 guys and 50 responds, they still are making some money out of it. Typical attack: victim receives the letter announcing that he or she has won a prize. Mailer asks for the tax information, phone numbers, email address, and other information. So deliberately you are providing all that information with the money that you will be sending, that your personal address, your phone number, email address, and all those things are gone. Greed leads the victim to happily surrender all sort of information willingly to the person who's looking for that information. Then started emails, used a variety of scams and false offerings. Email attacks like hacker sends an email purported to be form of a legitimate IT email, asks the user for the password to help to solve the problem. Hackers send emails, messages, invitations to join online competitions for receiving money and cash prizes, and then joining requires sending sensitive information, which falls in the category of phishing. User is tricked into giving private information about his or her account with a known large organization. So lookalike emails that you receive plus the email and the phone calls that you receive. Long time ago, I used to receive calls on my landline number that you just won a prize, you'll have to pay the processing fee and you can get the tickets. So they were spending a lot of money in calling the guys all the way from US to Saudi Arabia and different countries. So it was a big scam at that time, because I'm talking about the days when there were no caller IDs. You are receiving a call, you don't know who is he or she, where they are calling from, unless they tell you that we are calling from XYZ country or a company. Government, security, public service, they are just showing the typical phishing form that you might receive. It looks authentic, where you have the government security logo appearing and rest of the information. It looks authentic, but it's not, because they are working on it so that it looks very professional. Instant messaging, social engineering attempts to be a friend of the victim to gather information and send the victim to a web link she might likely to visit. Just like I received a WhatsApp message from a different country plus 251, I don't know what was that. And she was claiming that she worked with me on a project and she still needs some help from me. The first thing you must do is block and report, so that they are not contacting anyone else for that. Telephone communication, social engineers may manipulate background sounds and their own voice to produce the required effect. Help desk personnel are vulnerable targets. Social engineers often impersonate technicians. By the way, in the latest nowadays, with the technologies and everything, you can easily backtrack the call centers from where they are calling. You can find lots of scams and their live videos, how they backtrace and how they reach the even headquarters of these scammers who are operating from different countries. They'll be talking in an accent that it would be very difficult to judge that whether you're receiving a call from US, Canada, Australia, or UK. but they'll be hosted somewhere else calling and trying to get some information out. Now, how to counter the social engineering? Steps to counter social engineering attempts are: do not provide any information to unknown people to whom you don't know. They are calling you for the first time and they are asking all confidential information from you. Do not disclose any confidential information to anyone over the telephones. Do not type passwords or confidential information in front of unknown people. Do not submit information to any insecure websites. Do not use same username and password for all accounts, and verify the credentials of the persons who are asking for the password. I would say you don't need to verify the credentials of the persons who are asking for the password. Just don't give the passwords. There is no service who would ask you for a username and password. Even in the educational environment, if you want to reset the password of your Blackboard or email or any other service, we have a number of other ways to do that. Why would we use, or we would ask you for your password? Isn't it easy for me to change your password to something else, log in, do the task, and then ask you to change the password again? There is no point asking students that what was the old username or password that you are having on your account. So never provide that information. Steps to counter social engineering attempts: to keep confidential documents locked. Lock or shut down the computers when you are away from the workstation. Instruct help desk employees to provide information only after they have gained proper authentication. Nowadays we have tools like AnyDesk, or we are using TeamViewer, or we are using Outlook Assistants, through which we are able to connect to the remote computers. Now, dumpster diving, often the mother lode of sensitive information as well as the actual hardware and software. Hackers look specifically for sales receipts and paperwork, whatever they could find in the garbage cans. They contain personal or data, credit card information, etc. Shared the documents can lead to a data leaks. Drafts or letters are routinely left whole in the trash. Company directory sheets, catalogs, lists, unused or misprinted labels, and policy manuals. How much time does it take to just shred it in a shredder, or just tear the papers, or make sure that they are not, the information which is written on the documents is not readable, or no one can join them together to gather some information about it. So always throw the information, whatever is related to the customers or the important information or trade secrets inside the organization, must be shredded properly. Importance of proper discarding of refuse. Security policy must carefully address what is sensitive information and decide how to treat or refuse. Both solutions for theft and paper trash. Cross-cut, shred it and keep it in a locked trash receptacles. And hackers search for outdated hardware. There are tools that can restore the data from damaged data storage devices. So we have information protection systems in the organizations where we are monitoring the storages, for example, filers, where people are storing the information. It keeps track of the data which is being copied to the USBs. So they won't let you copy the data anywhere else or to upload it to the cloud services. As soon as you'll do, either they'll send an alert or they'll deny it then and there. So the documents which are saved in the repositories within an organization remains over there. You cannot take it out. You cannot save it to any external medium. You cannot save it as a draft in your email, and you can use it for official purposes only. Because long time ago they caught a scam where a person was not using Gmail to send emails or trade secrets to another company. What he was doing is that he shared the username and password of the Gmail account that they were using. He was drafting emails, saving them as draft in the same mailbox and leave. So once the other person would open it, he'll find it in the drafts which are not sent. He'll read it, copy it or just delete it from there. So if it's not sent, the secrets are considered not leaked out. But since they were just saved in the drafts, they found out that the account was used at different places. Now, guidelines that help preventing dumpster diving: develop a written recycling and trash handling policy. Use the policies to develop the consistency and systematic methods of handling trash. The trash handling policy should state that all papers be shredded, erase all data from the tapes, floppies, and hard disks, and simply breaking the CD-ROM is not sufficient. Place them in a microwave and heat them or burn them. Because if you'll break the CD-ROM, you can join it together. Now, there would be some fine lines where you'll find some breaks, but still you can recover data from there. That's why they are saying that either burn them. Now, they are constantly talking about policies, because whenever we talk about privacy and things, we have policies for each and everything. If we have computers, what we'll be doing with that? Not only the hard drive, but the RAM is destroyed with the computers as well. Because information is kept in RAM, though it's a temporary storage, but still it remains there. So that's why whenever they are talking about getting rid of any confidential information, they destroy the computers and RAM, including the hard drives. Now, internet footprinting is a technical method of reconnaissance. Hackers like this method because it's clean, legal, and safe. We'll be doing it today in the lab. 4 methods used in internet footprinting: web searching, network enumeration, domain name system based reconnaissance, and network based reconnaissance. Web searching is through the search engines. You want to get some information about a company through the best search engine that we have, Google. Used to collect information about any specific subject or organization. Company's basic information are available through search engines, and any company or organization is vulnerable to innocent searches. Like if I want to get some information about the systems which are being used in an organization, I would go to LinkedIn and will find the CVs of the people who are working in an institution or who have been working with an institution. They left it, so you'll go to their CV and find their job description. They'll be writing that I was handling these kind of servers, this kind of technologies and all those things. So you'll have an idea that what kind of infrastructure does that company have. So that's how they collect that information. HTML source code. You can view the source code of any web page. Area of interest in an HTML source code is its comment, entries, and the hints of the organization or the site. Now, knowing the format of the username and passwords can be useful. You should have a default or an index page in every subdirectory. Why are they saying so? Index page is the first page which is loaded by default in the browser. It could be index or default, but it really depends if you are defining a specific index page of that directory. But if you will not define it, it is index or default. Now, the news groups, text-based online groups in which users discuss subject matters, interest, part of an online bulletin board system called Usenets. Hackers read postings in the news groups and discover information and documents relating to a target system. Suppose someone is having issues with his Exchange server, and there is a group, news group for discussion on Microsoft Exchange servers. Now, every person, whoever would be discussing about it, might be from a company who are hosting an Exchange server. So everyone would be posting information related to their Exchange servers, the problems they are facing. So these hackers who are smart into these things, they'll find the weakness of the system and then they follow those users to penetrate those machines. So first of all, internet is not an authentic place to be. I don't know why we provide all correct information online. Correct date of birth, your location, your full name, your blood group, and stuff like that. There is no need for that. It's not a legal matter anywhere where if you are opening an email account and you are not using it for anything where you'll be receiving payments and stuff, there is no point of giving your real name with a real date of birth, location, and all those things. Have any name, have any account which could be used online. Now, security related websites, hackers study these websites to learn about new developments in the information security. Rather, they'll find the weaknesses and will be announcing it on their website. Newsletters provide cutting edge developments to hackers most of the time and available free of charge, automatically emailed to the individuals. Now, network enumeration is a process of identifying the domain names as well as other resources on a target network. Now, we'll be using Whois Search, which is an internet tool that aids retrieving domain name specific information from the NSI registrar database, which is a international database of registering all domains. Display the information about the search items. Hackers use the Whois tool first to extract critical data about the target system. That's our lab for today. And then to conduct the hacking activities. So we'll be using a software called Spade Search, and we'll be using different tools in that. I'll release a video on the tool itself so that you can understand it better. Now, that's a DNS stuff old website which used to be there. Now, there are a number of other websites with the help of which you can find the DNS tuning, lookup, then the city from the IP and IP to country, trace route, ping, and all those other services. So we'll be doing it using the software. There are two ways you can do it. You can either use a software or you can use it on a command line interface. And you can download and install Whois on your computer, and using a command prompt you can get details about any domain on the internet yourself. Its expiry date, its location, contact details, administrative details, as well as technical details of the persons who are managing the domain. Now, that's in a Linux interface. In a terminal they are showing it that how can you use Whois and how can you get the details of it. Now, DNS lookup, domain name system, is also used for Reconnaissance tool that helps internet user to discover the DNS names of target computers. In a network environment, it could be target computers or IP to domain or domain to IP resolution. If you write the name of the domain, it would find the IP address of the domain. If you write the domain address as the IP address, it would find the name corresponding towards the IP address. Websites provide DNS lookup tools like DNS Stuff, Network Tools, and Network Solutions. DNS zone transfer. In every DNS server has a namespace known as zone, and zone stores information about the domain names. An incorrectly configured DNS server may allow any internet user to perform a zone transfer because it can travel from one zone to another by just changing the pointers. I want to transfer the domain name from one address to another. If it is not able to resolve the name on one DNS server, it would transfer it to another DNS server, and from there it flows. Commands like nslookup and host programs are there for that, and you can see it that nslookup, and then you are trying to find the nslookup of netsol.com. It would show you the IP address of it, non-authoritative servers, name, and their information. Now, again, here on the terminal they are using the wildcards like -v that we'll be using it in the lab to get rest of the other information about network solution tools, and that's a close-up of the same thing attempted of DNS zone transfer. Now, commands to perform the DNS is a dig command, and then we have ping and we have traceroute. Ping is a part of Internet Protocol messages, which is, we call it ICMP. So whenever you read about ping, the thing that should come to your mind is ICMP immediately. Helps you to verify whether the host is active or not. Command is available to all platforms. There are 2 ping utilities available, Linux, Unix, ping and ping 6. So it does not only tell you if the host is active or not, but it tells you the response time received from that remote machine, because it would tell you a response time, TTS, time to live, that it is responding in that. If sometimes you get no response in the middle, you are getting all responses and then no response and then you are getting responses, it means that there is intermittent connectivity. It's breaking in between. So you'll have to check that what's the reason that you are not able to communicate. What happens in that case is, if you are pinging a remote machine and you are not getting a response from it, your services would be delayed. And sometimes the users will receive a service that receive a message that the service is not available. So it should be a constant loop where it's constantly responding from there. Now, traceroute, a request from a web page that resides on a remote server must pass through several servers on its way. Command can track all and the intermediate servers. So it tells you the passage, just like you're driving. You're going straight, then you'll take right, then you'll reach one point, then second, then third. So it traces all the route from where the packets are moving, locations of different hops. So that's how you trace that if someone has entered my organization, or if I want to exit from my organization, my traffic, what route it would follow. It would go from my internet to my core servers, then my DNS and all those things, until it would exit and would go in the other premises. Now this is just about the ping 6, showing the screenshots of it. Traceroute in a Unix based systems use traceroute, and in Windows we use it as tracert. It's the same command. The only difference is how we write it. In Unix we write it traceroute, in Windows we use tracert. Just like traceroute, so it's a Linux based, and netstat allows the transmission control protocol, which is TCP, and UDP protocol, user datagram protocol, and IP connections of the computers to be viewed. Also help you locate the IP address of the computer, IP address of the host computers, or the port or host to the computers which are connected. As you can see, we have netstat -h or -tr. You can get what this minus stands for, and then you can use these different flags with that in order to get the specific results what you are looking for. And that brings us to the end of the chapter. Any questions, guys?